Welcome back to Uncontested Investing. Today we have an extraordinary guest joining us. She's a powerhouse in the private lending world and a true advocate for women in finance. As the founder and president of Simplending Financial, Janine Cascio is renowned for her expertise in providing fast, efficient capital solutions for real estate investors. We're diving into her journey, her passion for education, and her insights on creating a supportive community for women in this competitive industry. Let's kick off the episode. Hello and welcome back to our Uncontested Investing audience. This is your host, Nate Zielinski. Today I'm joined by Janine Cascio, the CEO of Simplending Financial. Janine, I can't wait to get this conversation started. Where I start with every guest, though, is how they got into the industry. What intrigued you about it? School, family, something different? What did that start in the real estate industry look like for you?
Yeah. First, thank you so much for having me and this opportunity. What started me in the industry is that I just loved math and finance, and I went to school for accounting. When I lived in New York, I met a family office that I worked for as a loan officer, and they kind of introduced me to the industry, real estate in general. And real estate has just been such a good tool for creating financial wealth, and I have found such a passion within educating and giving those tools to others.
That's a powerful statement right there. I love that because the industry notion can sometimes be, a lot of people are doing this by themselves individually, not really sharing any leads. I have to secure this property by myself. But when you get into the industry, it's really eye-opening that there's so many people willing to pay it forward, give back, provide that education, as you mentioned. Yeah. You've been able to rise all the way to CEO. So first, congratulations on that. No small feat there. One of the things that I love asking a CEO is, I would think that there's two things that always are at play, right? It's the health of the company itself, and then it's the growth opportunity for the employees that you have. How do you view that? How do you manage that at Simplending?
Yeah, I think creating these bonuses and incentives around company goals, so that I know and how to balance where a company health is. Also, if it's a position that position's to drive revenue to the company, like hiring another account manager, as long as I have 1/3 of that salary, I'm willing to risk. I'm willing to make that bet on that person. As well as just knowing the steps we need to take to grow and watching that, but also as a CEO, knowing that I'll eat last, knowing that we will have enough cash flow to withstand the downtimes is important as well. And for me, it's just a mindset of knowing what I'm risking and where I'm going. And right now it's growth at all costs. So I'm very adverse to risk as well.
Yeah. And then another step further with your leadership style, being that you are relatively new to the CEO game, is there any motivation that you've taken from other people? Is it kind of learning more about yourself as you go? What does Janine the leader look like?
Yeah, for sure. It's been a step for me to really step into that role, but educating myself, always having the mindset of I'm continuously learning. And to give you a little yoga line, the difference between a master and a student is that a master always knows they're always a student. So having that mindset that I'm always learning, I'm always growing, I'm always in a place that I'm not at my best self. I'm always looking to level up.
I love that perspective. And then another layer as we keep the topic on employees and Simplending itself. I'd imagine when you're building out a culture, you want people that match your vision, match your hustle, your mindset. How important has building a team been for you? Any challenges with that, or has it been seamless so far?
There's always challenges, but embracing those challenges is a mindset I cultivate. From the book, Jim Collins, Good to Great, finding the right people for your bus is so essential. It's really the first step in growing a great company. And I think when you're so keen on your culture and your mission, that people will naturally fall off. So it's not like this whole thing of I have to like fire or let go or and make moves that way. It's just like stick to your mission, stick to your values, and you will attract the right people for your best. So that's very important.
I love that perspective. I can't wait to talk more about it. I can see that that's an avenue that you're very passionate about. So
Yes.
we'll talk more about that later on in the episode. Staying on the simple lending topic, though, and you guys are based out of Houston, fairly popular in the real estate industry, the market, people, traveling and kind of attracted to that city. How important, I know you're a nationwide lender, but how important has that local community been? Have you been able to use that as an asset to kind of help you get off the ground?
Yeah. I would say at first, being a nationwide lender, I noticed our focus was kind of all over the map. That's when, we've just recently moved into 3,500 square feet in the Galleria in Houston. We've really cultivated that hub for us and creating that community around Houston and really educating the people and being able to host lunch and learns and happy hours and things like that have really helped us focus on the market in itself. We really want to be a big dog within Houston and then kind of offer the nationwide services that we have as well.
And it's a little bit like networking, as you mentioned, some of those events, but how are you hosting those? Are you attending those? Is it a mix of both? And what kind of feedback are you seeing or benefits are you seeing from attending those type of events?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually recently just partnered or sponsored our local Houston Summit. They do about 4 shows a year, and we have a booth, and I speak at those events. So that has been very essential for us to grab clients from. And I've noticed, like, just obviously being new to the CEO role, of how much speaking helps at these events. It's like, as soon as I'm done speaking, people are coming up to me like, you're the reason, like, I knew I was coming to this event for a reason, and you're it. Like, they want to really connect. And that's the best part too about like having the mindset of like, I will attract the people that resonate with me, that want to do business with me. It's such an energy shift of like just attracting the people that want to do business with you.
And that reaffirmation has to be powerful as well. I can see you're well on your way with Simple Lending to be a household name, not only in Houston, but across the country. Thank you so much for your time so far. Guys, we'll be right back. We have a quick ad read that's going to jump in here, but we'll be right back with the Money Making Minute. We're going to put Janine on the spot for the first time. Stay tuned. REI Inc. is the premier monthly publication for real estate investors. Dive into a wealth of expert insights and knowledge from industry leaders and gain valuable regional market insights, ensuring you always have the best information right at your fingertips. Visit REIinc.com to elevate your real estate investment game today. Welcome back to this week's episode of Uncontested Investing. I'm happy to be joined by CEO of Simplending Financial, Janine Cascio. And Janine, as we mentioned, it's time for the Money Making Minute. So this is your opportunity to share a piece of your success with our audience, whether that be an investment strategy they should be taking advantage of, an app that maybe you use that helps you track productivity, skill, habit, daily part of your routine. What helps you be more successful that you want to share with our audience? Let's hear your Money Making Minute.
For the Money Making Minute, we use a tool called HubSpot. It's the CRM that we have reports on everything the team is doing with output. So it's a very good thing to stay on top of. But mindset to me is everything. 95% mindset. Being able to embrace challenges, having affirmations in the office, mantras that we hold on to, and coming together as a win-win culture that everyone succeeds as a team.
Another way that it's evident that you have that team building spirit within the company is through social media. You and your employees collaborate a lot, whether it's pictures, videos, content, LinkedIn, Instagram. How important has that been for you? What types of content are you making? Is that a fun part of the job?
Yeah. Prior to being in the finance world, I was actually modeling full time, and that itself was a brand, right? I was essentially marketing for myself. So coming into Simplending Financial, I know how important marketing is. And I think if you're good at marketing, you have been able to really develop a brand around that. So we are like 10x with social media. We are posting on every platform. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on LinkedIn. We try and have, the educational, but then the funny, trendy, because the trendy is actually what brings the audience in. And then you have to have the education to back it up.
Yeah. It is a tough balance, but you're right. You need to kind of have that hook to attract people. And then
RCN does a great job too of it.
Yeah. So going back to the finance side of things, the real estate industry of it all, the last year, I know we're kind of looking at it very positively as we head into 2025, but I imagine parts of 2023 and 2024, maybe some doubts crept in for you. I know you have that strong mindset, but in a competitive industry and a challenging market, what was it like persevering for you these past 18 months, call it?
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of go back to my spiritual yoga mindset that I have, but if you can not label anything good or bad, and perspective and attitude is everything. So just focusing on what we can control, and that is our attitude, that is our mindset, that is coming to the office every day with that positive thinking, and knowing that we embrace any obstacle or any challenge that comes our way, but not necessarily tying to the fact that there's external circumstances, whether it's inflation or whether it's the election, whether people are, acting out of fear, kind of erasing that and coming back to the central of what we can focus on. And that's our mindset.
Yeah, let's jump to that question now, because you've brought it up a couple times, and I think it's an attribute that a lot of successful people have, right? It's blocking out the noise. It's having a strong and healthy mindset. So how have you crafted that? What do you do actively to kind of improve that? What does focusing and sharpening your perspective and your mindset look like?
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I do a lot of yoga. So I do a lot of yoga in the sense of different types too, like power yoga, yin yoga, where I'm more quieting my mind and doing meditation. I even like to incorporate some ice baths. So ice baths help you kind of sit and be okay in discomfort, and then add that to your then reality and your day to day. And then when obstacles come up, they're not as seemingly challenging because you've already gone through that challenge of the day, whether it be on my yoga mat, whether it be in the ice bath, whether I was able to breathe through things that I'm literally training for. Mm-hmm. So I'm training in the morning. I'm training my mind to prepare myself for anything that comes my way, to not attach to the negative and go down a spiral.
That's an interesting way to look at it. I like that, where you have that challenge in front of you, and once you tackle that, the rest of the day kind of seems a little bit easier. I love that. Going back to Simplending and the company itself, customer reviews, I imagine, for any new CEO, any new company, have to be very important. I feel like it's one of those things where you're refreshing the page. Do we have 5 stars on Google? Are people liking the service we're providing? How have you used customer reviews to help shape your customer service and maybe your company itself?
Yeah, I mean, as you may know, in this business, referrals are everything. So one of our key values that I hold at Simplending Financial is actually customer obsession. So whether a client's upset or even their deal's not going well, I find integrity and transparency is key. Someone would rather a no and a straight answer than to be dragged on to the closing table and maybe not close their deal, and then feel kind of like you bait and switch them or not feel trustworthy. So I always carry that core value within the company of just customer obsession. Make sure that you're fully transparent with them. And essentially, even if you have to tell them no, they will come back to you later because you were so truthful and honest throughout the process. So customer obsession, yeah, that is so key.
Yeah, that openness and being upfront with them is huge. I've had a lot of experience in the company of, having to say no to someone who reached out. Can you guys do this loan? And I'm like, oh boy, I wish it's close, but unfortunately we can't. I was like, all right, I'll never hear from them again. And then within a week, maybe even sooner, they're reaching out with materials like, how about this? How about this?
People respect the no.
Yep.
And that's a good thing to hold on to.
For sure. Well, we're learning a lot today with Janine. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's time for our second break. We'll be right back with Deal Breaker, Deal Maker. Stay tuned. Simplending Financial stands as a front runner in the private lending space, utilizing their expertise to streamline the process for rapid and simple transactions. They curate a top-tier customer service experience, ensuring satisfaction at every step. If you need financing for fix and flips, DSCR, or new construction, visit www.simplelendingfinancial.com today. We're back with this week's guest, Janine Cascio, CEO at Simplending Financial. And Janine, it's time for our second segment of the episode, Deal Breaker, Deal Maker. We've switched it up a little bit recently, but what we want to hear from our guests is a personal story about their professional career. Is there a turning point that comes to mind for you, a really important day, something that maybe you look back on fondly of like, that really helped me launch my career and springboard my success? Let's hear your Deal Breaker, Deal Maker.
My deal maker is obviously first and foremost like having the realization that I could really branch off and start my own company. But I do specifically remember when I was hit with a cease and desist order from another firm in the Houston market. And I actually went to John Hornick, who's a very well-known attorney in our industry, and he answered my call that second. And I am part of the NPLA in which he owns, but I just specifically remember after he kind of had my back and I had his support, I came off of that moment really ready to take on and be a player within this industry. I think support is everything, and having people around you is everything. You can't just go off and start a company without feeling this support, whether it's in your mind or your perspective, but feeling that there are people in your corner is definitely essential. So joining things like the National Private Lenders Association was the best move for my career. That was a deal maker.
Ruffling feathers is always a good sign too. That's the sign that you're doing something right. Yes. You know, other people are scared of the success that you're about to go on and achieve without them. And then our listeners will know I love a perfect segue. You mentioned it with John Hornick. I imagine there may be a few others. Do you have mentors in this industry that have helped you, CEOs that have maybe paved the way that you look up to, reach out for advice, anything like that?
Yeah, so Mike Tedesco, actually from the CEO of Appraisal Nation, has been my mentor the past year. Unfortunately, sad, but we've already spent a year together. So now I have Fred Rea, who surprisingly just pretty much came up to me and was like, I will be your mentor, because he knows that I'm launching a fund and he's already done it. And, when we sat down, he's actually mentioned that he's like, I'm less adverse to risk than you are. Like, it took me 12 years to build what I've created. And I looked at him and I'm like, can you help me build what you've done, but in 5? Because I'm here to play, I'm here to build, I'm here to grow. And having a right mentor is so important. I think no matter where you are in your career, having a mentor or a coach, maybe multiple. I'm always piling up my mentors. So I could go off on a tangent right now on mentors. And Jeff Tesh is actually someone I admire because he's such a CEO that carries the chief energy officer that I like to relate to. He is that. He's someone who has passion, enthusiast. He's an enthusiast throughout the industry, and I think that is so key.
Yep. And I can see people lining up to be a mentor to you because you have that ambition. As you mentioned, you want to cut timelines in half, and you have that mindset and perspective that's infectious to be around. Going off on MPLA as well, and we're here together for the IMN trade show. What is attending trade shows and networking with other industry professionals? How has that helped Simple Lending? As I imagine it's a leg up on the competition to be able to travel the country and get the word out about, hey, I'm starting this new company. Can you help me? You can take advantage of our services. What does trade show and networking look like for you?
Yeah, so I've actually, always stated that I've built my company around networking. I've built my company by attending and showing up. And going back to a mentor, John Hornick, something he said that really resonated with me is just keep showing up.
Hmm.
Because even though like some people will be like, oh, I see the same people over and over again, but like I've seen Mike and known Mike Tedesco for years, but we've just became best friends.
Hmm.
Like we've just built this relationship that's like, let's go play golf together. It wasn't always like that. So it's like keep showing up, keep building your network, and don't underestimate the power of relationships.
The sports detour is about to happen right now. I have to
Let's
ask
do
you
it.
how the golf game is. Are you new to the game? Have you been playing your whole life? What does that look like out there?
So golf. Let's talk about golf. So someone asked me what is my handicap, and I had no idea what that meant. So that can probably just tell
Yeah,
you
there
how
you
my
go.
golf game is.
That sums it
But
up a
I
little
do
bit.
enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and it's another networking tool, believe it or not. And you get out there with other industry
Yeah.
professionals, and it's a good way to not only de-stress but
Hmm.
network as well.
Yeah, I can hang for a good 3 or 4 holes, and that's enough to get my networking in.
Yep.
So
Awesome. I love it. I love it. All right, back to business. Uh, I see that you're writing a book as well. So first of all, I would love to hear about the inspiration and a preview. But I imagine some part of that book may be advice or inspiration for other professionals in the industry. Do you have people coming up to you seeking advice? I mean, you're on quite a tear here with what you've been able to create in such a short amount of time that people want advice from you. They want to know how you're doing it. Is that what started the book? Is it a little bit separate?
Yeah, the book is just something that, I have always wanted to make an impact and share what I have used to help me get to where I'm at today. And it's just like a give back tool. It's something that makes me feel good. So the book's title is actually She Thinks, She Believes, She Acts, and She Receives. So it's a little bit about like manifesting your desires in life, how to change doubt into belief in yourself, and from that belief then take action, and from that action then manifest all of your desires. So really just aligning all of that and going back to mindset and your belief in that. I just want to share with other people what has helped me, and that's all it is my unique story, my journey, and hopefully someone resonates with it.
I love that. I'm expecting a signed copy, but we can talk about that
I'll
after
come
it's
back on
published.
the
And yeah,
podcast.
exactly. I will buy it, but I expect a signature from the famous Janine Cascio. So you've been crushing it. You've got the company rolling. You're about to write a book. What does the future look like for you? Are there goals for 2025? Are there goals for maybe a 5-year, 10-year plan? What's next for Janine in Simple Lending Financial?
Yeah, I actually don't like to jump too far ahead of my life. Like, I'm enjoying
Hmm.
the journey. I love the journey so much. This is probably the most fulfilled and passionate I have been in what I'm doing in a daily basis. And I'm just very aligned with that. And we did move into new office space. So having that to grow into and hiring, we added 2 new team members just last week. So that's exciting. We do have our own podcast, A Simple Chat, which is nice as well. But passionately, I'm a yoga and meditation certified teacher. I think focusing on that and bringing it into how I lead my team and the culture that we create is kind of the direction I want to go. And through our platform and through our company and through our podcast, if we could help and impact more and more people, that's the trajectory that I want to be on.
Nice. And sometimes staying present, living in the moment is one of the most important goals that you can set for yourself, right? As you mentioned, don't look too far ahead because, where you are planted with your feet on the ground is sometimes the most important place you need to
The
be.
most powerful place to
Yeah.
be. And that's what I try and to remain at
Hmm.
on a steady basis.
Nice. Now, I have a challenge for you. It's okay if you want to talk more about yoga. I love it, but I can see that that's something that you're super passionate about, and it's really an outlet for you. One of the things that I love asking guests, especially people that have risen to CEO and are very successful, is they still have that off switch, right? Investors can get in this mindset of 24/7, 365, very
Mhm.
grinding industry, right? They can experience that burnout. Is there anything other than yoga, or if you just want to give yoga one more shout out, that really helps you refresh and recharge and makes you a better CEO when you're ready to return to that?
Yeah, I do like to sign up for yoga retreats to kind of disconnect, but spending time with family, anything that's like kind of like solitude for me of just kind of disconnecting from the go-go is something I'll always go back to. Even reading and journaling is nice as well.
Nice. So I think the last thing we have to do here is roll out the red carpet and allow you to plug Simplending Financial. Is there any way that people can reach out? Is it social media, the website? I'm sure a lot of people are watching this episode and wanting to find more about you and your company and on its growth trajectory.
Yeah, for sure. So personally, you could connect with me via LinkedIn, Janine Cascio. I'm pretty active on there, so I do tend to try and get back to all the messages. But other than that, Simplending Financial, we are on every social media platform, Simplending Financial, and it's not 2 words, it's Simplending Financial, pronounced Simplending Financial.
Love it. Gotta clarify. And for our listeners and people watching on YouTube, all that information is going to be in the description. So we'll be able to make it very easy for you to reach out to Janine and her team. Janine, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. Very eye-opening. I love your perspective and your passion for the industry. So I'm sure our audience is going to learn a lot today. Thank you so much for stopping by the Uncontested Investing studio.
Thank you.
And for our listeners, you guys be sure to check this episode out. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff that helps grow our community. Can't wait for you to watch this episode and react to it. Janine brought it today. Very great episode from start to finish. This is Nate Zielinski signing off. We'll see you all in the next one.
Thank you for listening to Uncontested Investing. Questions about today's episode or the podcast? Email podcast@rcncapital.com and make sure to follow REI Inc. magazine on LinkedIn and Facebook and RCN Capital on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. See you all next time.